This M140i will literally leave the FK2 in another postcode. Hi guys, and welcome back to Downshift Throttle. Now, in my last video I unveiled my new car, which was the BMW M140i, which was to replace my Honda Civic Type R FK2. Now, towards the end of that video I did say that I was going to do a vlog on my M140i and kind of take you around the car, take you for a drive and compare that to the Honda Civic Type R. So let's go and do exactly that. The M140i, the wolf in sheep's clothing. 340 brake horsepower, straight 6 turbo engine, classic BMW. Now I know, comparing this to the FK2, it really doesn't look as aggressive, especially from the side profile. You know, if you look at this, you probably think it's a 120D, but trust me, that's the whole point of this M140i. It blends in with the crowd. You have some telltale signs that it's actually an M car, and the way you can tell is you have the feral grey mirror covers at the top, and you've got this feral grey kind of trim on the front bumper. That's what distinguishes this compared to, like, say, a 120D or something. Being an M car, it comes with those blue calipers, M Performance brake system. So while we're here on the tyres, this has the Michelin Pilot Super Sports. Now, as you might remember, on the FK2 I did put on the Michelin Pilot Sport 4S's. That was an awesome tyre, but because those were 19 inches and these are 18s, you don't get that tyre for this car. Let's have a look at this colour combination up close. Sapphire jet black, coral red interior, brushed aluminium inserts. Just love the way these three kind of colours just pop. M steering wheel and the M dials. Just look at that door card. You know, you got the black, the red and the aluminium, and those colours just kind of seem to just ooze quality. And of course we've got the Harman Kardon system on here as well, which sounds amazing. And check this out for detail, the M140i kick plates. Now I know that the FK2 had those Recaro kind of bucket seats, which were amazing. You know, on seats alone they would win some serious awards. But what you do get with this is, although this might just look like a standard seat, in fact here's the driver's seat here, what you do get is, even though those bolsters might seem like quite flat and not supportive, you do have this option here where you can actually bring in those bolsters to kind of fit around your hips, so when you are going around some corners at some speed, you don't feel like the seats are not supportive. Really good feature. I mean, another thing to note, those of you that are familiar with BMW, I mean, this has got the latest iDrive system. So where previously the menus on there would be like kind of stacked up in terms of, like, say, just listed, these are now in a tile format. You'll get to see what I mean when I start the car up anyway. So I think that's enough of the interior and exterior shots. What I'm going to do now is put the camera at the rear of the car and give the car some revs, because that's where the FK2 was actually lacking in character, and this thing has bags of it. That exhaust sound was awesome, something that was lacking from my FK2, and I'm really pleased with the note that this makes. So now what I'm going to do is take you for a test drive, and you guys can join me, and I'll give you like a little review about how this again compares to the FK2, because that was my last car and it's only fair I'll kind of drive this against that. So come on guys, let's go. The FK2 was obviously quite a hardcore race car, whereas this, obviously you've got the comfort of BMW, you've got the kind of a solid sort of interior and build quality feel, which is apparent right from, you know, as soon as you kind of step into the car. The M140i then, like I say, 3 litre straight 6, 340 brake, 8-speed auto. In a nutshell, it's a mini GT car. You never really feel the need to push it like beyond, say, 3,500-4,000 revs, and the reason for that is most of its torque actually delivers at like say 1500 revs anyway. So it is, in my opinion, like a small GT car. It's probably just as fun to drive as the FK2. You can get up to speed in this car very quickly. What you notice with the FK2 is because it was more of a connected car, you know, you had like the 6-speed manual gearbox, snicker to snicker kind of operation. You don't get that obviously in this one because this is 8-speed auto. But what you do get is when you flick this car into sports mode and start using the flappy pedals, it's not a double clutch, but it's lightning quick. Listen to that. Oh! That shove. If you just saw the way this car just shoved me back then, this M140i will literally leave the FK2 in another postcode. Whoa, that was really impressive. For a moment I thought I'd made a mistake, you know, kind of coming out of an FK2, which was quite a quick car, into something like this that looks a little bit reserved. But trust me, I've done the right thing. There's no doubts about it. The FK2 was such an awesome car, and this is rapid. This is definitely a wolf in sheep's clothing. You know, you should never underestimate an M140i compared to a car like, you know, the FK2. Definitely not. You never really feel the need to rev this thing out all the way to its 7,000 red line, which was the same as the FK2. I mean, I've been short shifting this thing out probably about 4,500 revs. I mean, I shouldn't really be revving it out anyway because it's only got like 150 miles on the clock. But it's got bags of power. I mean, that's the thing, you know, you could have like a 4-pot turbo engine, you know, with like say 300 brake horsepower, and you know, you kind of think that's the pinnacle of technology, and BMW come and throw this 6-cylinder into the mix. And this one is obviously a dying breed, because as we all know that the next BMW, you know, M140i maybe, or whatever it's going to be named, is going to be like a front wheel drive 4-cylinder turbo engine. You're not going to get the same kind of character that this car has. It's a dying breed. I think I'm just going to cruise in it now. I'll put it back into comfort mode, let the car do everything. Which is the best thing about this car over the FK2, is that it is like a small GT car where, you know, you've had your fun, you've given it a blast, and you can just settle the car back down into kind of comfort mode, and it'll just kind of, you know, bounce over these kind of bumps in the road, change the gears seamlessly, and you can just sit back and relax and enjoy that. I couldn't really do that with the FK2, because FK2 was, you know, it was hardcore. I mean, you had like the Plus R mode, which, if I'm honest with you, I probably only used like once. It kind of threw me off the road almost, so it was kind of unusable, so it's no point having. Whereas in this, it's got the option, and with the adaptive suspension that this car has, it literally just grips the road. I mean, I think I've just entered a new kind of era of motoring. In the past, I've always had like kind of big fat saloons, and then I went from that into a complete hardcore FK2, which, you know, hand on heart, I absolutely loved. And now I've got the power, if not more power than the FK2, with, you know, the kind of luxury of a BMW 3 or stroke 5 series in this, because this has been spec'd to that level. Can't really complain. I'm really impressed. What I will say about the FK2 is that because it was such a driver's focus race car, very few cars would actually keep up with that on the track. But with this car, you can actually have your cake and actually eat it, purely because you've got the power and you've got the luxury. So it actually works on the road, where 80% of the driving time will be done. Guys, I really hope that you've enjoyed this content that I put up on this car and comparing it to the FK2. Please don't start hating on me, the FK2 lovers, because I still love the FK2, and there will be some content that I will be putting up around the JDM cars. But over the coming weeks, I will be concentrating on this, because I'm trying to learn the car, and over the, you know, sort of coming weeks, months, there'll be probably things that, not that I'll be modifying this car, but as I learn, I'll be sharing with you guys. So come on, stay tuned, and I'll hopefully see you guys on my next vid.